Welcome back, everyone, to City Walk. Today we are taking you to Lugano, Switzerland. Get ready for a virtual stroll through a city that seems like it's right out of a postcard.
It really is a special place, nestled between a gorgeous lake and the Alps.
Sounds amazing. But I have to admit, when I think Switzerland, Lugano isn't the first place that pops into my mind. What makes it so unique?
Well, for one, it's in the Italian-speaking part of Switzerland, so you get this really cool blend of Swiss efficiency and, that Italian zest for life.
So it's like a cultural blend with the best of both worlds?
Exactly. You can see it everywhere, from the architecture to the food. Speaking of food, we'll get into Lugano's culinary scene a bit later. But first, let's set the scene a little bit.
Okay, paint me a picture.
Imagine like a charming lakefront promenade, palm trees, swaying in the breeze. And then you look up and bam, majestic alpine peaks. It's that unexpected contrast that makes Lugano so captivating.
Wow, that sounds absolutely stunning. I'm definitely adding it to my travel bucket list. But I'm also someone who likes to do things on vacation. What's on the Lugano itinerary? What should I do when I'm there?
Lugano has something for everyone. Of course, no trip is complete without experiencing Lake Lugano itself. You can take boat trips across the lake. It's supposed to be incredible. And you get amazing views of the surrounding mountains and those little charming lakeside towns.
I bet those views are incredible. Anything else? For those of us who want to stretch our legs a bit, maybe?
Absolutely. You could take a walk through Parco Chiani. It's a lush green oasis right in the heart of the city. Imagine winding pathways, the scent of flowers. It's really quite lovely.
Sounds idyllic.
Yeah.
And for those of us who like a little more excitement, or those panoramic views.
Then Monte San Salvatore is calling your name. You can take a funicular, that's a type of cable railway up the mountain. The views from the top, breathtaking. Lake Lugano, the Alps, the whole shebang.
Okay, I am sold. I'm adding it to my list right now. So we've covered stunning scenery, but what about Lugano's cultural side? I'm always looking for a bit more than just a pretty view.
Well, Lugano has a vibrant art scene, and one place you can't miss is the Museum of Modern Art. They have an impressive collection of 20th and 21st century art with a focus on Italian and Swiss artists, of course.
Love that. It adds another layer to experiencing a new place. Now I have to ask about something that really piqued my curiosity, a miniature park.
Ah, yes, the Swiss miniature park. It's a delightful surprise, I have to say. Imagine meticulously crafted miniature versions of Switzerland's most iconic landmarks. It's like taking a whimsical journey through the entire country in just a day.
That sounds incredibly charming. What a fun way to experience all the highlights. Okay, last question before we move on from sightseeing. Any literary gems hidden in Lugano? I'm a bit of a bookworm, so I always like to see if there are any literary connections to the places I visit.
Literature lovers should definitely check out the Hermann Hesse Museum.
Hermann Hesse, of course, the famous German-Swiss writer.
He spent a significant part of his life in Lugano, and the museum offers a fascinating glimpse into his world. You can see his writing studio, his personal library, and even explore the gardens that inspired some of his most famous works.
That's incredible. It sounds like the perfect place to connect with literature and history in a really immersive way. All right, enough about the views, even though they sound absolutely incredible. Let's talk about what I'm really excited about.
The food. I've heard Lugano is a foodie's paradise.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially if you're into that, like, Italian, but with a Swiss twist.
You heard right. Lugano's culinary scene is a delicious fusion of flavors. Get ready for mouth-watering risotto, polenta.
Okay, yes.
And, of course, pasta, all elevated with those local ingredients and that unique Lugano flair.
Now you're speaking my language. Local specialties are the best way to really experience a place. What makes Lugano's risotto or pasta stand out? I mean, I feel like I can get good Italian food almost anywhere these days. Well, for one, they use ingredients you won't find just anywhere. Think saffron from those nearby valleys. It lends a really delicate, earthy flavor to the risotto. And have you heard of Lugani?
Lugani? No. Tell me more.
It's this flavorful sausage, unique to this region, Imagine it, like adding a savory richness to your risotto, or even polenta. Pure culinary bliss.
Oh my goodness, my mouth is watering just thinking about it.
Yeah.
And what about those unique Lugano touches on the pasta dishes you mentioned?
Well, they often feature Ticino-style sauces, preparations, adds another layer of local flavor. Picture yourself savoring a plate of, like, freshly made pasta, but with a sauce made with mushrooms foraged from the surrounding forests,
Stop. You're going to make me book a flight right now. Okay, you've officially convinced me Lugano needs to be added to my foodie bucket list. Speaking of indulging, what about shopping? Any must-visit spots for those of us who, love a good souvenir? Or fashion?
If you're ready for a little retail therapy, Via Nasa is the place to be. Imagine a charming street lined with these really elegant boutiques. They've got everything from high-end fashion to, locally made crafts.
So basically, I should pack my credit card and be prepared for some serious damage.
Well, let's just say you'll definitely be tempted. Via Nasa is known for its, luxurious offerings. But even if you're not on a shopping spree, it's worth a stroll. Just to, admire the beautiful window displays, soak up that sophisticated atmosphere.
It sounds like the perfect place to find a unique treasure to take home.
Hmm.
Okay, we've talked about art, food, shopping, all the essentials, really. But now I'm craving something truly unexpected. One of those hidden gems that makes a trip really memorable. What do you have for me?
Oh, I have just the thing. You have to check out the Swiss Customs Museum.
A museum dedicated to customs.
Yeah.
I have to admit, it doesn't sound like the most exciting way to spend an afternoon.
It might sound a bit niche at first, but trust me on this one. This museum offers such a fascinating glimpse into a world most people never get to see. You'll learn about the history of customs, border control, and the techniques they use to, prevent smuggling and stuff, and how they preserve cultural heritage, which is really interesting.
That's what I love about traveling, those unexpected discoveries. They teach you something new and change your perspective.
Mm.
So we've covered a lot of ground here, the scenery, cultural attractions, even a customs museum. What would you say is the one thing that someone visiting Lugano absolutely cannot miss? Yeah. Like if you had to pick just one thing that really captures the heart of this city.
That's a tough one. There's so much to see and do. But if I had to pick just one, it would be experiencing Lake Lugano itself.
It does seem to be at the heart of it all.
Exactly. Whether it's a boat ride or maybe a picnic on the shores or even just enjoying the views from Parco Chiani, Lake Lugano is like the soul of this city. Take the time to soak in its beauty and you'll truly understand the magic of Lugano.
It sounds like a truly immersive experience. Now, for those of us dreaming of a Lugano getaway, how easy is it to get around? What about transportation?
Getting around Lugano is a breeze. They've got an excellent public transportation system, and the city is very walkable, especially the Old Town. Plus, for exploring those surrounding areas, they have trains connecting you to other Swiss cities and even into Italy.
Wait, so you can just hop over to Italy for an afternoon gelato. Tell me more.
You got it. Lugano is conveniently close to Milan, only about an hour away by train.
An hour from Switzerland to Italy. That's incredible. Talk about convenience. Speaking of which, I know Switzerland is known for its really efficient train system, but what about flying? Does Lugano have its own airport?
It does. Lugano has its own airport, which is great for regional travel. However, most international travelers fly into Milan's airports. Usually it's because there are more flight options and often more competitive prices.
That makes sense. So whether you're arriving by plane, train, or, even automobile, Lugano is ready to welcome you with open arms. And speaking of a warm welcome, what's the general vibe like in Lugano? What kind of atmosphere can visitors expect?
It's interesting. Lugano has this unique atmosphere where it blends sophistication with relaxation,
Okay, I like
You
that.
get that Swiss efficiency, but with this more laid-back Mediterranean vibe, thanks to that Italian heritage.
So you get the best of both worlds. A touch of that Swiss elegance, but with that warm Italian charm.
Precisely. And it's reflected in everything, from the architecture to the people.
I can already picture myself sipping espresso by the lake, soaking up that Lugano sunshine.
And don't forget about indulging in some of that incredible local cuisine. Do I mention the cheese?
Oh, right. Swiss cheese, Italian cheese. Okay, yeah. It's a cheese lover's paradise.
Absolutely. This region is known for its cheeses. Have you heard of, Formaggini di Malcantone?
I can't say that I have.
It has this unique soft texture and a slightly tangy flavor. It's often enjoyed fresh.
See, this is what I love. Those specific details that you just don't get from a travel brochure, And you can't talk about Switzerland without mentioning chocolate. I have a feeling Lugano doesn't disappoint on that front.
You'd be right. Swiss chocolate, it's renowned worldwide, and Lugano is no exception. Be sure to indulge in some locally made chocolates. It's a real treat.
I'm making a mental note of all these culinary must-tries. Okay, we've talked about what makes Lugano so special, from its stunning scenery to those cultural attractions. But for those of us who like to plan ahead, when is the best time to visit?
Well, Lugano is beautiful year-round, but for the best weather, I'd say aim for spring or fall. You'll enjoy pleasant temperatures and, fewer crowds compared to the peak summer months.
That's great advice. Fewer crowds means more time to savor those lake views, right?
Exactly. And don't forget, Lugano has that Mediterranean climate, so even in those winter months, you'll enjoy milder temperatures compared to other parts of Switzerland.
So no matter what time of year, there's always something to discover in Lugano.
Precisely. Whether you're seeking adventure in the Alps, cultural immersion, or even just a relaxing escape by the lake, Lugano has something to offer every traveler.
Well said. It sounds like Lugano is a destination that truly has it all. A huge thank you to you for, guiding us through this beautiful city. I feel like I've learned so much.
My pleasure. It was great chatting with you about it.
And listeners, we hope you enjoyed this little virtual trip to Lugano. It's a city that's definitely capturing our hearts, and we hope it's inspired you to add it to your travel bucket list. Thanks for listening. For more travel tips and insights, follow us and stay tuned for upcoming episodes. See you next time.